No, it says we're live. It worked with Gerald. I
I
thought
think
this
you have
Mercury
to go
retrograde was
live
over.
and then hit the countdown.
Yeah, he says you hit the countdown automatically. It kicks you right in to go live.
I
I don't
don't know.
know.
I don't know.
But we're here and we're live. So, everybody, I know people will be popping into chat soon and there'll be people watching on replay. Everybody, welcome Minnassa from Minnassa Wellness. First time on my channel. And oops, that's going to drive me nuts now. So, it looks like I got three little like claws coming out of my head. Hi, Dina. So, I invited Minnassa on
There
today
you
because
go.
her and I both have a beautiful love for crystals. And with it being the pagan holiday of Imbolc, which is an umbrella because there are many other cultures around the world that have their mythologies of their people. And um, so the the indigenous peoples from ancient times and those who still recognize and celebrate what their ancestors celebrated. And those rituals, those times of years were very important. A lot of it could have meant life and death. So they were always very connected to the earth because they knew if they lost any connection to the earth, to the celestial bodies, to their connection with nature, it could mean, the end of their family, to their village. So for Imbolc, it's the Celtic pagan holiday of also known as Candlemass, which is what the Christians decided to kind of take over. And it's the blessing of the candles, but it's all related. We all know that.
Well, I
And
thought it was very funny that you said on the show with Gerald that what could be more paganish than taking your candles to the shaman, right? Or in this
mhm,
to the priest for a blessing. It's like, okay, that is,
same thing.
we were giggling backstage about how Saint Brigid, who not sure where she came from, has the exact, so our holiday's the same day as divine feminine goddess Bridget, and that she had an eternal flame, and that where at this original monastery they keep a
In
flame burning.
Kildare.
Like
Hmm.
they're not even trying to fake it. Like, oh no, no.
Yeah. So it's no wonder that the world all over, the early peoples all share the similar mythologies. It's just another different name for different people. And I know Manassa brought a beautiful representation of Bridget, and I also brought one too from my Colette Baron Reed deck. Um, and what I love about the Colette Baron Reed too, I mean, I love the Bridget with the flame, the red hair. Um, and I like how in this card they made Bridget a little older. Um, what I like about the a lot of the decks that Colette does is that she incorporates different ages, different ethnicities. It's not, lack of a better word, whitewashed like a lot of decks are. And there's Kristen Louise. Hello, Kristen. I was
That's
sharing
right.
some
She
of
said
your
she liked. Let
cards.
me show her this one again. She said she liked this one.
Yes, with the flame. Isn't that beautiful? And Bridget, is the triple goddess. She's the maiden, the mother, and the crone. She is the hearth. She is the creativity. She is the warrior goddess. In um, Great Britain, England, she's known as Britannia because of her working with the forges and the swords, and you know the warrior goddess. So it's beautiful how even though we are all different, we are all still woven into that same tapestry when it comes to our connection with the earth and with nature and just the whole cycle of life itself. So, and I know Manasa, you brought some because of its officially Black History Month. Manasa decided to bring some other beautiful cards of African goddesses that represented the earth and the rebirthing, and I'll give that over to you.
Yes, and well, I think one of the things that has been is my focus this year is to really. I want to say hi to my friend Shanita, who's in the chat today, and to good to see Flowing. Uh, and Chris,
Rashnita.
we were talking about Kristen Louise backstage, but you know, that this year I wanted to be very intentional about going with the flow of the energetic of the year. So when you talked about me coming on your show for this time, I was very excited because I thought, yes, I want to be aware what's happening on the year of the wheel, what's happening on the sun. So we'll talk about astrology. Even excited to have the lunar new year to really be working in that energy and knowing that this lunar new year is the year of the rabbit, which is
Rapid.
my year. Because when I told my daughter, she's like, "You're not a multiple of 12." I'm like, "Yes, I'm going to be 60 this year," but it's the Blackwater rabbit, and it hasn't been that since 1963, since my year.
Oh,
So I'm very
wow.
excited. And that we're all one. That yes, the Catholics told Brigid from the Irish, and and they're like, oh no, it's Saint Bridget, huh? But here she got flame. And okay, that we're all one, and that so many things that patriarchy, took away the divine feminine. And
Mhm.
then as colonizing happened and white supremacy happened, and then just wanted to push down that power. So now that information is coming back, and so, just like for a while, nobody knew about Brigid or knew about Persephone, other than like she's a mythological character. And what? She's a woman that's disempowered, right? Because men are controlling her capacity to
Mhm.
travel back and forth. And now we see that there could be a whole different aspect. So, I wanted to share that just like Brigid or Ostara, that also in the African tradition, and of course, Africa is a continent, and then there's different countries inside. So, to the Ashanti people, their goddess of the spring and of before they plant is Asa Ya'a. And so you see here in this image,
Okay, I'm going to put you on the large so that everybody can. Let's put your. There
you
we go.
see her she's nursing a baby again, bringing life, tree in her hair, surrounded by the flow, the moon in the background. So, this whole thing about this energy. And then what they do is before they plant their seeds, and before they start that, they take their tilling and their shovels and the seeds that they're going to plant and they bless them. They ask her to bless them. They have a ceremony with her to bless them. So again, that we are, even science has proven that whether you're black, yellow, brown, purple, green, whatever, the genetic difference between humans and their ethnic difference is a less than 1% and closer to 0.1. And so that, yes, that we all have a divine feminine energy that we know that we need to acknowledge and honor before we start planting, and that it is the rise of this divine feminine that is bringing life in the spring, whether it is on the continent of Africa or South America or Central America or Mexico, Canada, United States, or over in Britain. There is that same knowing that when the divine feminine rises, that she comes back to bring life in the winter. And so I wanted to share
Mhm.
two other
Okay, put you
goddesses.
right back in there.
So there's Nana Buluku, who works with the seasons. And so you see there's all the seasons surrounding her. She brings the life. And then Mabaya Nahanda, and this is the radical rebirth, which in some ways is what spring is, that we see
Mhm.
things die, but they come to life again. And again, honoring the divine feminine in every form and across all cultures. That even when Trevor Noah left the Daily Show, he's like, you got to honor women. Now, he was talking about his ancestors and Black women, and the truth is, when we all can come together,
Mhm.
when women can come together and say, we're sick of this BS that's happening here with these patriarchal white supremacists, and we're done with this, we will change the world in an hour.
Yeah.
That is the power of the divine feminine. Look how all that they've done to bury the divine feminine, and yet the Catholic Church couldn't even go without her. They had to keep Mary,
Mhm.
right? And like Saint Bridget, they're like, oh hell no, we're not giving up our goddess. Okay,
Yeah.
here's her name right here. She's right here. Oh, she looks just like yours. Yeah, this is how. Yeah, fingers crossed they're gonna fall for it.
Mhm.
And so honoring of the divine feminine, and I'm excited to come into this spring with this new idea of
Very
looking at the
well.
goddess that celebrate all women. We are powerful. And we got to believe that about each other and come together.
Mhm.
Thank you. And
That's
that,
why
yes,
I have issue with kind of with the women today, because there are just so many shows on TV that that pit women together,
yeah.
and they allow this. They Women are allowing them to be exploited, to try to ruin each. I mean, we should be uplifting and empowering. And instead, it's like every time I'm turning around, it's like they're allowing themselves to be exploited. And it's like, how can we be um, taken seriously as a strong feminine? I'm not saying that we can't be sensual and sexual in our nature, but just taking back that power and saying, we are more than our how do I say this politely? Than our sexual organs.
That's
You
right.
know what
We're
I
more
mean?
than tits and ass. Just say it. We're more than tits and ass. And
Yes.
and
And that,
so and that is true because even those are our power symbols. You take a look, someone said, I told a man that I had a body of a goddess. And then he shows a picture of one of those goddesses that got nice big boobs
yeah,
and a big
like
old stomach. Hey, Bridget's cross, right?
yeah, yep.
Because
Kathy just said she made 20 of them today, so I
mhm.
just wanted to reach over and show Kathy because she's in Ireland.
Oh,
So,
beautiful. That all of those
mhm,
symbols represented our power. So again, when the patriarchy wants to rob that power, they take those very things from us. And so we've got to be gracious. One, because one of the things I see so many trauma responses in women. It just, we talk about the Me Too movement. So now you see how
mhm,
many actresses first, and then even men, that these men, absolute power corrupts absolutely, that these
mhm,
men just doing whatever. And
mhm,
so there is that trauma response. So if the only way I value you, right, I treat you that you have value is these things,
mhm,
we all want to be valued.
yeah.
And so then oftentimes that's how we're gonna
and
take
and
it.
there were even women who were allowing this to happen, um, and even sometimes perpetuating it. And if we could just, like you said, focus all of our energy on just supporting one another and raising our children to respect, women and each other, um, what a difference it would have in the world.
And the day is
It would be the
coming.
ripple effect.
The day is coming. And the women's movement was the
Yeah.
beginning of that. And to me, the Me Too movement was the transformation of that. Because
Mm-hmm.
women finally had to say out loud stuff that we've taught. How there was a woman, a friend of mine, who got a text from her family, and like, oh, Uncle, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, who, the Chester molester in our family? She was, I'm not going to pray for him. I'm not going to wish him ill, but that again, someone has to take that
Mm-hmm.
stand.
Yeah.
And it starts with us holding
Mm-hmm.
that space and then releasing them to be able to be more than that. To say, I see you. You are more than that. Yeah, you got some pretty
Yeah.
ass and a pretty butt, and I honor that in you, but your mind
Mm-hmm.
is beautiful as well, and your
Exactly.
heart is
And
beautiful as well.
it
But it's
it
all
just
a
breaks my
healing.
heart that it's the only way to achieve success and power is to step over all over your fellow sister. And the language and everything, for me, it's a total turn off.
Well, so one of the things you can do is write a letter to those to NBC, whatever channel, and say, listen, I don't appreciate these types of shows, right? Because when people and they take one letter to represent more like 100,000 people or some huge number like that, so they get it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we got to speak up. I'm current, as and I write letters all the time, and I send emails. I even like there was a time I wrote a letter to every female Republican. Now I didn't grow up in a Republican household, and I'm not a supporter of the Republican Party, but I
Mm-hmm.
reached out to each female senator that was Republican, asking her to take a stand. I can't to take a stand about codifying Roe versus the woman's right to choose. After I said because I'm asking you to remember that you have the capacity to heal women, to stand up for women, to be the
Mhm.
voice for women, that you are bigger than your party. So they all got a letter from me. I mean, it's just, now did they do it? No. But I
No.
want them to know there's someone who's watching them. In the end, I want you to stand for something bigger than that. And
Mhm.
so sometimes you got to just say, listen, I'm going to do something different.
And just want to welcome really quick the Heathen Coalition.
All right.
Um, she was now I do not speak Gaelic, but just seeing her and Jackie,
Yeah, it
uh,
looks like her. They're both are speaking a
and Irish,
beautiful
yeah,
language.
happy
And
Brigid
good to
stay so yeah,
know those languages. They didn't get lost.
yes. And there's Samantha just popped in. Hello, Samantha. So it's I've been told I have a friend who feels that I'm a bit of a prude because I feel that especially young women should learn how to, and it's not to judge. I don't want it to be judgy. I just want women, especially younger ones, to kind of take a step back and look and say, you're the new generation. You have the power in your hands to guide how we are perceived. You want respect. You want equality. Um, you want, I'm at a loss for words. For me, it's just, you want love. It just keeps coming right back down to just love. Love isn't love more powerful and more beautiful to share amongst each other than greed, than 15 minutes of fame, than you know what I mean?
Correct. But
You
so I
push.
would say, remember that those young women are walking in the freedom that me and Sojourner Truth and Elizabeth
Yeah.
Cady Stanton, that they took the beating from the police. They took the beatings from their husbands. They had their church pastors talking shit about them. They laid that path. So just very similar. I've had that conversation with out Memphis here and even with a tri-state Black Pride, because it's like, listen, you want to put these events on and you want to plan everything for these youngsters, but when you want to do a donation run, then you're going to send the email to me, right? So don't forget about the seniors. So they're walking in the freedom that other people have
Mm-hmm.
laid for them. And so um, they don't know. And yes, what is this word all about? 15 minutes of fame,
Mm-hmm.
right? TikTok, get on TikTok and do something. So you have people who went and looked on these African American young girls pages, learned the dances, and then went back to TikTok and made them their own, and they made hundreds and thousands of dollars, but no money went to them. Say, well, why not? Because people's oppor- fame has become more important than character. And
Yes.
listen, if someone said like, "Oh, hey, you can be on this show and talk about your mindfulness," yeah, I'm going to go there. Now, I'm not going to be on the Jerry
Mm-hmm.
Springer show and talk about it, or with the
Yep.
Kardashians. I wouldn't do. You
Yeah.
could. I wouldn't
Oh,
do anything. But you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Again, we've got to hold the space.
Hi, Lily.
We got to hold the space. And
Mm-hmm.
then again, the rise of divine feminine. All this stuff that's happening, the Me Too movement, women finally
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Hey, I'm sick of that. I'm not going to do." I mean, when I think about Jennifer, I love her. Now her name went away from me. She was Katniss in uh,
Um, Hudson.
no, not Jennifer Hudson. This is a young white girl,
Oh,
Jennifer Lawrence,
oh, Lawrence. Okay, the
who
Hunger
said
Games
that when
girl.
she was in an audition for some movie, all the girls were naked. Okay, but it wasn't a naked show, right? Again, but these,
That power
right?
over.
But
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to follow her heart. She wanted to get the role. She wanted to be in Hollywood. So all the other girls were naked. This must be how it goes. All right. So again, we've got to have grace. These young girls are walking in the freedom of stuff that we could never do. Like
Mm-hmm.
all my tattoos are under my clothes, right? I was telling someone, if you want to see my tattoos, we'd have to be naked, right? But these
Mm-hmm.
young girls got these tattoos all
Mm-hmm.
out, go ahead,
Yeah.
right? That I would say honor their freedom. You know, like I'm going to be doing some speaking. I'm going back to my speaking business, and so I was had to wear a dress. So I like to wear dresses, and I have a beautiful suit, but I bought myself a slip and I showed it to Gail, and she's like, I didn't even know they still made those,
Made
right? Because
those,
the
yeah.
slippers were nowadays you just don't wear it, and it's like, okay, I don't want to see your underwear. Take your dress off then, right? If you're just gonna let me see your underwear, why are you covering it? But they don't know better. Maya
Hmm.
Angelou says it very perfectly. When you know better, do better. And so sometimes
Oh, I
us
love that.
older women, us more mature women, instead of pointing our finger, we've gotta, instead of pointing our finger, we've got to open our hand and invite them in.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was getting like, my daughter loves her some Beyonce, but I was like, why is Beyonce always dressing like a well, I did catch my salty sailor mouth. Always
Or back in our day, the hoochie mama,
dressing like a
the
hoochie mama
hoochie.
because she has talent. Like if you
Oh
can't
yeah.
sing and stuff, then I get it. You need to have some other throw your tits around or whatever. But I said she really has talent. She doesn't need that. And then someone said to me, let her she has worked hard to get that beautiful, gorgeous body. Let her show it off. And I thought, okay.
Hmm.
Yes, we need to show them the way. So not pointing our finger and saying, listen, you're trying
Hmm.
to control that. So you're messing up here. We have to come with love. Just like you
There's
said, we've got
more
to
to
come with
us than
love.
the
We've got to
outside.
come with acceptance. And
Hmm.
they're walking in a freedom that we bought for them.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, a lot of women don't realize that, for women to get the right to vote, there were women that were beaten. There were women that were raped and, in the jail. Some women lost their lives, some to the point of almost losing their lives. And yet they
correct.
kept marching.
Correct.
And
And
so
so,
we need to show them so that they can see that, so how many had to suffer to get to where they are now, and that they have the power to carry that torch forward to create even, more progress. And I am hope, even though I don't like a lot of I don't like politics. Excuse me, my cat again. um Even I'm sorry guys, if you hear her, you hear her. She's
that's
ornery.
vast. That's a goddess. She wants to be in this
Yeah.
conversation. That's what
Yeah,
she's
she
letting you
wants
know.
food. She wants a treat.
She's
So,
letting you
but
know.
I, there are some women who I know are carrying that torch. Like after we had our mass shooting here in Buffalo last year, um, the day after we continued with the women's march, and Letitia James showed up to our march, and she came and she spoke, and I'm like, okay, is she going to speak and then walk away? And she came up to every single individual that was standing by her while she was speaking. And it didn't matter what color you were, it didn't matter what sex you were, nothing. She came right up to me and she put her arms around me. And I started to cry. And she just even held tighter. And she says, "It's going to be okay, baby. We're going to get through this." And so for me, there are still ones that are still holding that torch. They're still carrying that torch forward. And she's one of the very few that gives me hope.
Well, so I'm going to encourage you to see oftentimes the good doesn't present itself so obviously. And
Hmm.
so, where you and I can agree on the Kardashians, there are others who are in their own way bringing the light. And that as we, as the elder women, as the crones, have got to be able to see the light and speak to that so that it can shine forward. Yes, I know some the way some of these, some of these girls dress is like, what? But it is a different world.
Hmm.
And even we can put on some skanky clothes every now and again too and be like, yeah, this is how the old skanks do it, right?
Oh my God. Because where I live, Niagara Falls has gotten, the violence with the gangs have gotten so bad, and it just breaks my heart when I see that, the young mothers abusing their children, and I know it's because they were abused. I mean, it's generational, and it's really kind of bringing back too, with it being midwinter and moving forward. We can also address that to a lot of us who are doing that ancestral work, that shadow work of healing what came before us. So when you move forward, for because Imbolc is midwinter, so you're heading into spring and leaving behind, the the longer, darker nights of the winter, and you can kind of like use that as a metaphor to say, okay, this is what we're releasing, this is what we are no longer accepting, and we're moving towards that light, that spring, that hope, and the seeds that we want to plant for change.
And it's very true. And that as you and I do that healing work, we heal backwards and forwards, and then we heal left and right. And so as we don't lose hope and continue the faith,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there were people who looked at us as our young little skanky selves and thought these girls ain't gonna amount to nothing, but they were wrong. But it took a process that we have
Yeah.
got to hold that light. I'm not just talking about you and me, but I'm talking about all of us. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving this conversation, because a lot of people want to get on
Mm-hmm.
these shows, but can let's talk about crystals, right? All of
Mm-hmm.
those things are beautiful, but we have come to this planet at this time to make a
Mm-hmm.
difference. The planet is evolving. That, to me, the women's movement, the gay movement, the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, all of those things were the beginning of the age of Aquarius, of the rise up. And
Mm-hmm.
so now the divine feminine is returning. She was robbed and misplaced and misrepresented, and those days are coming to an end. But
Mm-hmm.
even in the mother, maiden, crone, the maiden can be looking kind of Hmm. So let her be that, and let the mother step into their place, and then let me as a crone step into my place, and then together, that triple goddess, that power of three, we bring about that transformation. So I'm loving this conversation because it's not light and it's about challenging things, but
The
as
maiden.
women, that is what we got to get down to, the nitty gritty.
And what people don't realize is that we can, at no matter what our ages, we can be in any one of these aspects
Correct.
or
All
all at
yes.
once.
That's
So
true, because when I'm with
it's,
my mother, I'm the little girl.
yeah.
That's right. Shanita got a good point. It's all about a part of our soul's evolution. And so this is about
Mm-hmm.
allowing that. And I
Yeah.
saw that Warrior Girl 13 subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much.
Yes, everybody, please. If um, you have not heard of Minnassa, I don't. I mean,
You may not have. It's
this
all good.
light,
It's all
this
good.
beautiful light.
I'm saying what you see
Her
here
link
is what
is
you get
down
from
in the
my channel.
description. Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not all I am.
Super soft. I mean, she gives it to you, and we need more people like that who,
Ouch.
like her and Gerald, that say, "Okay, I'm going to give it to you straight."
And the thing is, I had to realize my role, that I am a oracle,
Mm-hmm.
right? That as so the oracle comes with the truth of the moment right now.
Yes.
Thus saith the goddess, thus saith the Lord. And so I'm going to speak to that situation, and then I'm going to guide and bring healing. So I have a friend, Barbara Kid Calvano, who put on her Instagram page, and I saved it. When she does tarot reading, she lets you know, I'm not predicting your future. I'm here to
Mm-hmm.
tell you what energies are around you, how to become your
That's what
best
Amy
self.
does.
She
Mm-hmm.
goes, but I can predict that if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, then 6 months later, you're going to have the exact same thing. And so that is my role too. And so I have to step into that. It's
Thank
not
you,
always
Chloe.
easy. Thank you, Flowing. It's not always, excuse me, you got
Yeah.
my everything is um,
She's
drying
got
out.
dry eye.
We've
I've
been
got,
stuck in the house
sore,
with
snotty nose.
the AC and heat on. So yes, but this is again, that we've got to look. Thank you, Jackie's
Mm-hmm.
Chris. We got to look at these younger girls and remember, there was a time that I didn't care what some older lady had to say, because I don't want to hear your bullshit, right? But then let me hold the space.
Mm-hmm.
Let me speak to that good in them, because they're not going to be wild forever. They're not going to have those nice firm tits forever. They're not going to have that nice ass forever, right? And so, yes, an oracle and a prophet is right on target.
Um,
Kristen Louise, I said this to Heather backstage,
mm-hmm.
but I saw you on a show one day, and I don't know if I think you were the guest, but your intuitive prowess Your connection and channel to the divine was so clear, so powerful, so laser focused. I was like, this bitch, look at her just blowing this shit up. And then she's like, well, I don't like making videos. So, Kristen, I'm going to say in front of everybody right now, will you please make more
Yes,
videos
that's what we've been telling
using
her.
your powerful gifts? The fact that you recognize my own gifts just called me right out, an oracle and a prophetess. You are such a powerful entity for the light. I want more of you. I don't want to be just seeing you in the chat. I want more of you. I want more. Okay.
Did you get it, Kristen?
She's awesome. If you have not, I don't even know what show she would. It had to be Gerald.
Well, she's only done a few. I was actually quite honored. She was a guest on Rhiannon's Ramblings and Rants. And
No.
then when I got her deck, I asked her if she would be comfortable coming onto my channel to talk about her deck and to do some mini readings. So maybe it might have been mine,
Or maybe
but
Sharon, maybe she was she with Sharon or
I'm not sure.
but yeah, you are awesome. Your spiritual acuity is just off the chain. And there is a purity.
And her
Uh,
cards express it too.
yeah. Well,
I was
show her
sharing
cards
your
now that you're
cards.
talking about it. So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Kristen, come on, bring it, sister. Bring it, sister. Just saying, bring it. Okay, end of sermon.
No. But no, I that's why, a lot of that's what I love about the community is that we're ever expanding, we're ever growing, and it's that support that we each give to each other that I really love about our community. Um, Kind of getting past the spiritual egoism that sometimes can happen, and sometimes we don't realize it, and just looking and saying, okay, just how can I support my fellow reader? And sometimes
Oh,
that's
yes.
all it needs is that little bit of encouragement.
I'm trying. She said that she's been on Rhiannon Heather's and Orsi's and maybe
Oh,
Chris.
oh, well, maybe it was. Well, I haven't
Chris,
seen
the
her on
Scottish guy.
Orshi. Okay.
So bring your gifts, sister. I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
bring your gifts.
Yes.
All right. So
You
here,
heard it here
here we go.
first.
You heard it here first. Manasa demanding.
Yes.
Actually, Manasa
Those.
making space for. Making
Yes.
space for.
Yes.
All
And
right.
there's.
We had a great talk about the goddess and the goddess within. They're going to tell them, we're going to talk about crystals and then we're going to do some readings. You want to tell them what our.
Yes. So because this is the celebration of the light gain stronger, couple of keywords that stand out all the time for Imbolc is spiritual awakening and our creative powers or our creative inspiration, no matter how we express it. It could be like Juno has these beautiful mandalas that she crochets. She's beading. That's her inspiration. That's her expression of creativity. There's somebody who also loves to bake. I've seen in channels. For them, that's their creativity. That what brings them joy. So when it comes to creativity, it doesn't have to be a paintbrush, a pencil, um, writing poetry. It's whatever ignites your passion, that inner fire. Everything that we do, we are creative beings. When people say I don't have a creative bone in my body, well, no, you do, because we are of the universe. The universe is constantly creating. We create our reality to a certain extent. Some people say, well, we have free will to a certain extent, but what we can control, what we can create, that's inherent in all of us. So Minnassa and I, we're going to pull cards from our crystal decks, and one of us will be the crystal energy for spiritual awakening, and the other one will be for creative inspiration. So if anybody would like a card from Minnassa and I, one for spiritual awakening and one for creative inspiration, just go ahead and do a big me, and if you can do like the emojis on both sides of it, because sometimes with the way the chat jumps up, I lose people.
Oh,
And
you see,
so,
Jackie Crystal Moon pulled some cards. Amazing. The runes.
oh, okay. Let's see what
Runes.
we. We all have, yes, we do. Even
Yes,
during moments where we feel like we're powerless,
that's true. And let the
especially with
universe
what's going
know.
on in our country, you know, based on, the racism, the politics. It really does start with us doing what we can in our own communities and within our own families. Shanita,
Co-creators with the divine, becoming divine.
oops. So, okay. I'm assuming Shanita wants. Okay, so Mama Bear, I'm
Airport
gonna
hand.
star you,
Yes, and then
Kristen.
let's show our crystals that we got.
Yes. So I have those three, and for me, one of my I love carnelian, and I wanted to bring out
Mm.
a piece of carnelian that when I first saw this, I was like, "What is this?" Because I'm used to carnelian being, the dark red, or the orange. I'm like, "What's up?" But it also has white in it. It also has these beautiful passages of blues and
Mm.
aquas
Mm.
that are in there. This is definitely, he was like, you have to bring me. I'm like, okay. Because for me, my crystals speak to me. That's how a lot of times I get them. I'll hear like here or hi, and I'll turn and my eyes will focus onto a crystal. And I'm like, okay, I have to have that. Last year, fire agate.
Mm.
Um, so not agate, excuse me, quartz, fire quartz is what they're calling it. And I just absolutely love the bands and the shapes. Being an artist, that's what immediately caught my attention. And then also too the beautiful rainbows. Being an artist, I love my color. Another fun one that I learned of last year was bumblebee jasper.
Oh my Lord, I
And
love bumblebees. I love
and
bees.
and what I love about this is like layers of the earth, and there's that warm
Mm.
yellow moving through the rocks. So I thought this would be a beautiful stone to share with everybody. And of course, my spirit totem stones or crystals are my opals. This is kind of
Mm.
hard to see. It doesn't have as much fire, but this is a fire opal, and I absolutely love. And of course, anything calcite. I love the feel of calcite.
You mean like green calcite?
Ooh, nice. And of
Green is
course,
my favorite color.
carnelian. Of course, the
And
beautiful
orange. I
the
love orange
tree
house.
hemming.
I just don't have any right here.
Um, and what else? Who else wanted to come to the party? Um, is there anyone that you wanted? Of course, I also put my amber on, a piece that I made. So this is all amber, and it comes dark too. So amber for me, also, for me, I call this like my Pele um, goddess necklace because of the volcano coming up through the earth. So that too, she can be honored at this time because of the light coming up out of the earth. So
And
the
she makes my
ambers.
birthstone.
Ooh.
Yeah, peridite comes out of that. She's throwing them out.
That's one of my bucket list wishes is to visit Hawaii and to go and leave a gift for Pele.
Indeed.
And of course, then my last, my fire, my other opal. So,
Oh, Chloe, thank you for subbing to Shanita. So while I'm calling people
oh,
out, so
okay.
Shanita does like a 1 or 2, maybe 3 minute little video every now and again,
Oh,
but
okay.
she has the comments off. And it's like, why? Because I want to be able to go on there and say, oh my God, this was an amazing, inspirational video. Thank you. So I'm going to be on her show next week. I'll say something to
Wonderful.
her about it then, but put the comments back on because if people write jerky stuff, you can disconnect them.
Yeah, just block them.
It's Lily. Oh, here. Okay. Are you ready for my daughter walk from the other side of the house because she wants
Hi,
me to
Tita.
show her favorite, Chris. Here, come
Okay.
around so they can see you.
Ooh. And
Here
I'm
she
getting
comes.
a special gift in the mail soon.
Here she comes.
Hi.
And she
Hi,
wanted me to
Shanita.
show her pyrite.
Ooh. Yes, I have several pieces of pyrite. Fool's gold. I don't know. To me, I'd rather be a fool and have a beautiful piece of that.
That's right. And it's, yeah, very good. She loves it. So this is her when she wants to do abundance and things.
It's
I
for
know,
her mental
Shanita, it's
health.
for your mental health. I'm just saying you can block people. I want to be able to tell you, I love this. This made my day. Okay.
So
So
I'm
yeah,
just
my
going to
daughter
pull
loves
out.
pyrite. So of course I love green. So I love green aventurine,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm wearing
Oh,
right now. Here's my green aventurine bracelet. And then I always do love, but so of course I always have rose quartz. But then I found this at church, strawberry quartz.
Mm.
And then I always wear a protective stone, so this is ebony. But I thought, one of the things is that my daughter turned me on to. She gave me this beautiful gift for my present, for a birthday present, which is organite.
Ooh, very nice.
So this has my birthstone in it. And then she made this one, which even though it looks kind of orangey and it has gold flake at the top, it's citrine.
That's beautiful. That really is.
And then, of course, I love rose quartz. So this is like a resin thing that Lily made that's full of rose quartz. So you can use it to like charge, or if you need to sneak things. If you work at a place where they're not down with crystals, if you brought this in and just set it on your desk, they would never know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have to go to a family event and you're going to want to slap everybody, well, to avoid doing that, everyone loves hearts,
Aww.
right? And they don't know. So sometimes there's a lot of other ways to bring crystals into our lives. I was going to show you my yoni egg, and then I thought I'll just leave that for another day.
And when you're talking about rose quartz, I wanted to bring this down too. This is one
It's
of my
beautiful.
pieces that I got. My last gift from when I was living in Arizona. I got this in Sedona, and
Oh my God, I love Sedona.
yeah, I took my Reiki classes in Sedona when I was
You
living
did?
up in
So did my
Flakes.
wife.
Huh?
My wife also took her classes in Sedona.
Did she have Laurel and Mike, their
I
teachers,
don't.
for the Peace Place?
I'll
This
have
is
to
what.
ask her.
Yeah, but this is yeah, this is I love rose quartz, and I love the flame. When I saw that, they're like, here's a gift for you. When I was leaving, I'm like, oh my goodness. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. So we also really quick we
Oh, that's
had
right. I forgot I'm wearing unakite earrings. I see that Jackie has on her moldavite,
oh
and I have my unakite. So I
yeah,
love
some
that,
people
like
can't wear
green
moldavite.
and pink. So we're getting the upper and lower heart chakra.
Mm-hmm. And then you have your higher heart, which is right here, and that's where a lot of colors like the opal and stuff resonate with, which is no surprise to that. Okay, that's why I love opal so much, because I love that, and I didn't know that that was another chakra. People don't realize we have more than just seven basic
Correct.
chakras. There's
Correct.
chakras over our bodies, from all
Correct.
the way into the earth, up into,
Right. We have the Earth Star chakra and all those things.
which is going to be perfect because then I'm going to use this crystal deck because sometimes they include that in the cards in the image. So I'm just going to go back really quick and I'm going to see who we have. And Mama Bear is going to be the first person we pull cards from.
Now, are we using the same two decks?
I just go by whatever decks tell me to use for each person.
Okay.
So for Serena, I immediately picked up my Astral Realms.
All right.
And I'm just going to take her name off of there really quick. She's here.
Okay.
So
So what
we're
am
going
I
to do
putting?
Spiritual Awakening.
What am I pulling for her?
Spiritual Awakening.
Spiritual awakening.
Yep. Crystal for Spiritual Awakening. And I'll be doing the Creative Inspiration.
All right. Right. That's just our chakras go to show how our energy spreads, and also that we're basically energetic beings.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I know. People are like, ooh, I can't help but do that. So I'll let you put you in the big seat. There you
So
go.
now tell me again, this is for what is my thing?
Yours is for Spiritual Awakening.
Yes. And so Mama Bear, when I first saw this card and I saw, and then even the thing. So this is really the call for this season as we step into the spring and get ready, is to really step into your power.
Ooh.
This card is Archangel Metatron and Clear Quartz. And this is the time to step into your power. I think one of the things that we've talked about is that women don't know how to be in our power. We think that by being powerful, we have to compete. but this is the time. And that clear quartz is about being clear about where your power lies, that what is yours to work with, you work with that. And what is not, you release it. You don't have to be everybody to everyone, but this is the time. What is it that you want to plant so that it can bring and bloom in your life? Set that as your power and your purpose. And then call upon Archangel Metatron to help you.
Very nice. And for the creative inspiration, I got red jasper, which is connected to the Edaman star, which I'm not familiar, so I have to look that up after today's live. But it has to do red jasper.
Mhm.
So conviction. So you have the power, and then you need the conviction. So for that creative inspiration, conviction is that you're going to do this no matter what people are saying, even the negative voices. So this is if you find something that makes you happy, that you are passionate about, like Minnassa said, you have the power. You take that power, and then when you pair it with the conviction, you stay focused and you explore, and um, you learn. You stick with it. I'm seeing little stone steps. Each of those little steps, they may seem small. You may have like I'm seeing like snakes along the way where it's like that stop and go, stop and go. Sometimes that's okay, but just keep going. Have that conviction, and whatever it is that brings you joy. And I love too on the card, because these cards have like subtle different images on them. There's also mirrors, so allow that energy to reflect what you with your conviction, with your passion moving forward. um you hold on to that. You have the power.
And someone was talking about wearing your crystals in your bra. And so I used
Mm-hmm.
to love to do that. Now, my bras are already working
I know.
hard as it is,
Mm-hmm.
but I would have the crystals, and then, you get so used to, then you take your bra off and just crystals flying everywhere. So, welcome, Sherry. So, yes, that's why I stopped wearing them in there, because it just, oh,
Sorry, I have to
thank you,
sometimes
Heartsender
mute
Cheryl, for
myself.
being here.
Yes, we had Marina pop in.
Catch us later.
Hello.
Make sure all of you please hit the thumbs up. And if you don't already, please subscribe to Heather's
Oh,
channel. She is,
and Minnassa.
and tell you, sometimes you have to double check, because I was waiting for the
Mm-hmm.
announcement for your show with Gerald, and then it
Mm-hmm.
never came. And then when I went and looked, it said that I wasn't subscribed. And I'm like, yes, I was. So sometimes you got to just be careful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes,
it
Lord.
does that.
Crystals have to work really hard between.
Yeah, like JJ from Two to Speak says, projectiles.
Yes.
Pew!
Yeah. Yeah. Because you forget. It's like, shh, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, Floyd, at least that's a good thing. You know,
Yeah. It
you're well
can
done.
be.
You don't have to worry about that. But no, there's a fellow psychic medium on YouTube. She goes by Sloan Bella, and she's big girl, and she still sticks her obsidian, her crystals, I mean, and she's like, yeah, and she'll pull them out. Sometimes she'll fall asleep with them in bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
They'll
Yes.
wake up
That's
in
why
bed.
I
They're
wear
all around her.
bracelets and earrings and necklaces. I got to get it that way.
Okay, so Lily, I just saw. I will star your comment, so you will be able to get a card. I apologize for the finger. So the next person is Miss Kristen Louise.
All right. So for her, I'm going to use the Astral Realms Crystal Force. And so what am I reading on?
Now, this time you will be doing the crystal for creative inspiration,
All
and
right.
I will be doing the crystal for spiritual awakening.
The itty bitty titty committee. Hey, it all works. It all works.
Shan's mom, my mom-in-law, she had a T-shirt on back in the 60s, 70s that said "Itty Titty Bitty."
Tell me
She
my
was
thing again.
progressive. I liked her.
Tell me, what am I reading for again? I got so caught up in the
Oh,
laughing
this
about
is for Kristen Louise.
Crystal.
Kristen
No,
Louise.
what is the
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Creative inspiration.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Brenda. Minnassa has a channel. Her link is in the description below, and it's in chat in a couple places. She does an early morning. I'm not up that early. So
Correct.
she
It's
did it
not
right
live,
before
but
the
so you
day.
can catch it anytime.
Ooh. So, okay. Because for the crystal for spiritual awakening, Kristen Louise, I got engagement. So for me, automatically, this is engaging your audience, engaging people who want to experience that that I say beauty, but that enrichment, the nourishment that your readings and your cards give to people. Like Minnassa was saying earlier, being so spot on and connected with your higher self, your intuitive abilities, um, to remember to tap into that zebra. So it's zebra jasper. So if you have a piece or I can get a piece, and I've learned something too that I don't know if it was JJ or somebody else had mentioned, or maybe it might have been you, Manasa, but they were talking about even if you don't have that physical piece of crystal or stone on you, you can still call forth that power of that crystal to you from the universe. Reach out and say, okay, I need to tap into the energy of a zebra jasper. I need, that support, that engagement to make sure that I'm continuing working on my spiritual awakening. Because I know, Kristen, you are very busy, multiple jobs. Um, I think you have kids. I know you said you were just at the gym. So just making sure that you make time for yourself so that you can engage in the gifts that you have and be able to share them with us, especially on your channel.
Indeed. And yes, I did forget that you have a really big schedule. So anytime you're on, I appreciate that. And this is my commitment in public. Let me put my finger. I will have you on my show as a guest for Christian Louise. So here we go. So what was my thing again? I'm having like brain fart. Sorry.
Creative inspiration.
So this is beautiful. So not a coincidence that my daughter would walk out here with the pyrite. Uh,
Yeah,
Indeed.
I
And so
forgot about.
momentum, Mars,
Mm-hmm.
and pyrite. So this is, oftentimes what all that glitters is not gold. And this is that time to take that pyrite and to use that energy. Sometimes it's not always up front, and you have to really see what's going on and that your momentum is coming. And it's using that Martian energy. So where you have such a great intuitive gift, your divine feminine is on fleek. This invitation from Mars is to step into that momentum of your divine masculine. So that divine masculine is planning, visioning, and then these are the 10 things I need to do. First this, then this. So it's saying that as you're ready to move forward, as you're ready to go into the things that your heart is calling you towards, and for that momentum, the way that it won't be such a burden to you is to use that divine masculine. Like I always tell my daughter who has that Capricorn moon, get out the spreadsheet, make a list that you do a lot of things following your heart and by the seat of your pants, but the time is coming that divine masculine is calling you. Write it down, make a plan, get your spreadsheet.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. So, Kristen, I'm so sorry, hon. Everybody
Indeed.
can.
And you know what? I just honor her life. And if she is in hospice and she is ready to return to eternity, the gifts that she has bought in this lifetime live through you. And that there are many people whose lives have been transformed because of this woman, this great woman. And so we honor her legacy.
Yes. So, okay, let me just. I'm on starring the ones we already read for. And the next one is for Shanita.
All right.
And so you are going to be the um
Is it
oh,
Christian?
I should have just left you. No, you're the spiritual awakening, my dear.
Spiritual awakening. All right, Shanita,
Yeah.
here we go. I've got a card that I've never seen, a crystal that I've never seen before. So I'm trying to figure it out. All right. So I love this. So you've got the goddess Shi Wang Mu and Stromatolite. And I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the big one
Your
for you.
energy, rare success.
Ooh,
And so this crystal is about infusing your energies with your root chakra. And so right now, that power of your groundedness, your capacity to plan, to think big and set that vision, but then to hold your space, to hold your ground. And so what I really see is that this is a call as you move forward, your success will be in holding your ground. That you've got to say, this is my place, this is my boundary, and this is where I stand. And you can cross this line and you can fuck around and find out that this is really that opportunity to use this ancient energy to really, what they're saying right now is, I just saw a bunch of your ancestors stand in a line and said, use this energy. We will hold your space. We will hold you down. And so now, as you're ready to move forward to success at a higher level, your ancestors saying, we are holding the space. Ground, then go.
beautiful.
Let's see if I can find
So
out.
actually ended up picking up two cards for Shanita.
Oh, hell, I was going to do that too. And I thought, no, don't do that. This is your
Oh,
show, so you do it.
well, this is, but I think I understand why, because
Okay.
I end up pulling from the Unshakable. Here, I'm going to show everybody. Most people know about this deck that I use called the Unshakable Inner Peace Oracle cards, and they feature crystals that are in the cards as well. But when you said her ancestors, she's got her ancestors watching over her. They're there to support her. She's looking up. She knows that they're there. There's all the beautiful constellations in the sky. And it says, you can make it through. Your higher self is always guiding you. And a writing prompt is, what wisdom does your higher self have for you? So moving into that, and I love it because it goes with, it's like really like strong with the pink. And then you got the card for Malachite, transformation.
Malachite, yes, yes,
So
yes.
malachite is a very strong stone, not necessarily a high vibration, but it's one of those deep stones that have that very, it's one of those stones that have that very deep vibration to them. And the stone itself, with the beautiful, they're like pathways. So it's kind of like walking through a labyrinth. It's very, it helps like with mindfulness, being able to get grounded and just allowing your mind to relax and to look into that beautiful green and connect with that green with your heart chakra. And because pink and green are the two colors for your heart chakra, so it's saying for your creative inspiration is allowing those that came before you, your higher self, to guide you into through that transformation, using what it is that brings you that creative joy. Like before, again, like coloring books, if it's working with crystals, whether it's picking up a paintbrush, whether it's sewing, whatever it is that brings your heart joy. That malachite is such a beautiful, strong anchoring. Okay, anchoring just jumped in my head. It's a very strong anchoring stone that will help you through that transformation into where you feel more at peace and more confident moving forward in your creative um, projects and abilities.
And I just want to say, I looked up the goddess that was on this card because I didn't know her, and she is the Queen Mother of the West. Again, talking about your ancestors, one of the most ancient and powerful goddesses in the Chinese pantheon. So we're asking you to step into your power of pulling, holding that space, standing in the power of your ancestors.
Beautiful. I'm glad she liked the readings. So,
And thank
okay.
you for being here, Shanita.
Yes, thank you. So nice to meet you. So, here I'm going to do this again because my camera is right there.
Okay.
stick my finger in everybody's faces. And our
All right,
last,
Mama Bear. See you later. Thank you for
oh,
stopping
bye,
by, sweet
Serena.
lady.
So our last card is for Lily.
And did you have someone after Lily? Oh, Mama Bear had to go. Okay.
No, we already read for Mama Bear.
We did?
Yeah, I think, wasn't Mama Bear first?
No, I thought Kristen
Oh.
Louise was first.
Mm-mm. We already read for Serena.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be the spiritual awakening, and you're going to be the crystal for creative inspiration.
Crystal for creative inspiration for Lily. All right.
And for Lily, I'm going to be using the eternal crystals oracle.
Yes.
Because I have lots of pictures to take to send to Minnassa today. And as I started shuffling, I immediately heard the word danburite come through too. So that would be also a crystal, I guess, for Lily would be danburite. Okay. Oh, perfect. I love when this pops up. So for spiritual awakening, I got the rose quartz, love, your heart chakra, and what
Okay,
I
now,
feel.
so let me interrupt you right now
Okay.
because look at my card also. Heart chakra.
Wow. So the heart chakra for me, when it comes to rose quartz, that's for more of a, for me, rose quartz is a self-love crystal stone. So bringing more of that self-love. I mean, all of us could, I mean, this is for a message really for everybody because, and I'm one of those people too. I struggle daily, not daily, not like I used to, but we all kind of struggle with loving ourselves. You know, what we say some things to ourselves about ourselves that we wouldn't necessarily say to a loved one, and a lot of us have to start remembering that our words have power, our emotions have power, especially when they are directed towards ourselves, from ourselves. So for me, the rose quartz, moving forward into the spring, that love, start having more love for yourself, being easy with yourself. But if you have a bad day or things aren't quite, it's okay. Take that day off. Nurture yourself. This also is a card for me, the self nurturing, self care, taking the time for yourself that's needed. And because if we really can't, and I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I've been seeing so many in other channels, not necessarily in our community, but when I pop into some other ones, so many people are asking, well, does this person love me? Are they going to marry me? You know, am I going to find a husband? For all of that, I say it all has to start with loving yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself first, and you have that, you're going to put out there people who are not going to reflect that. You're going to get people who aren't going to want to love you for who you are because you're putting out already that you don't love yourself for who you are. So make sure, and this, like I said, for all of us, self love is so important.
You know, like RuPaul said, how are you going to love someone else when you don't love yourself? And so beautiful for Lily to get moss agate, heart chakra, and intention. And I really feel that this is a card from her ancestors and her guide saying, set your intention. Lily has some things on the horizon that she has some concerns may not be coming forward or could possibly happen. And I think her guides, not I think, that by using moss agate, which is a stone that she really loves, and through her heart chakra, I'm trying to get the card back, to set her, here's it is, set her intention.
Intentions. I know a lot of people are saying manifestation, manifestation, but what good is manifestation going to do if the soul intention is not there?
Correct.
It has to
Correct.
be nurtured. It has to be sustained. And the way for all of us to do that, again, like what the rose quartz said, is to, stand in that place of self love,
That's true. I well,
trusting
before
your
I
intuition.
I wanted to get married, so I knew I needed to get healing. So I got all these rose quartz, that rose quartz necklace and everything. Well, the first time I got married, it was to a person who was still, because I was still giving off that energy of, I'm going to fix you, I'm going to help you. And so I had to go through that. Now I finally got someone that is very good because it was still doing that healing. So also remember that just because you get rose quartz and you get your chakras aligned and you have tarot readings and you have your own tarot cards, that the first person who comes may not be the, that you've got to learn some lessons. And, I remember years ago, a pastor, my youth pastor said, thank you, Flo. And my youth pastor, someone was saying to him, how will I find the person that God has for me? Right? Because we were in church. And he said, I think if two people have enough in common and set their minds to be together, they can be together. And I remember all of us were like, oh, but you know what? He was right. There's 8 billion people on this planet. To believe that there's only one person for you, that's like, you're probably going to get hit by lightning first before you meet that person. But if you believe that there is a type, and that as you heal and grow and do your inner work, that type of person can find you. And that it's a process.
For all of us. Yep. I went 7 years before I met Shan because I was just not going to accept any less. I came from a family with a history of domestic violence, sexual assault, abuse, and of what then would happen to me with a family member. And so I saw, family members on both sides, dad's side, mom's side, just kind of repeating the same patterns. And just for me, it was just like, no, I can't do this. This is unacceptable. As that me putting myself up on a pedestal saying, oh, look what I did, I'm better than my family. No, it's just I wanted better for myself. If that was their path that they had to take in this lifetime, and that's how they wanted to follow through with whatever it is that they had to do, then I had to let that go and hope that now with the work that I'm doing, that I can start to maybe help heal a little bit of that. But me helping them heal isn't going to really do anything if it doesn't start with, again,
Correct. Like you said,
ourselves.
when you know better, you do better. And you've got to, I think part of the challenge is sometimes you have to look at where you began at your family and say, honestly, there's the mess right here.
Yeah.
So I don't want to bring the mess forward. So how do I not do that? Right? I love the people in the midst of the mess, but I don't want to stay in the mess. And so you step out of it and say, how do I go forward?
I like that tribe love. And Shanita said, preach. You are a reverend, though, correct?
I am.
Okay.
Among other things. So, yeah, so I'm a traditionally ordained minister, but I don't do traditional church damnation, guilt, fear. I do new thought. So I'm into the understanding that God is not a he, she, it's an energy, it's a divine presence. And that divine presence is in everything, almost like a very indigenous, whether it's a Native American indigenous, African indigenous, South American indigenous.
Great spirit.
Correct. That understanding that there is this one, the great spirit, this one energy that is operating in, as, and through us for our highest good, which has been a real healing for me.
Yes. And I think moving forward into this year, with everything that's going on in the world and around us, even though the energy kind of has been feeling heavy, it just feels like the light is going to get stronger. Not just, literally in the sky and the days are getting longer.
Yes.
But I think a lot of the, shifts and changes are going to be made, not necessarily at the rate that I would like for them to be. I think for most of us, but it's like focusing, trying to, because I had a friend send me an article as actually on the other window on my iPad right now called The Opposite of Toxic Positivity. Because so many people are like, well, just be positive. things will get better. But sometimes that almost devalues what you're experiencing and what you're feeling. And so they came up with an opposite for balance. I don't know, I haven't read the article fully, but their replacement, for that is tragic optimism, which is kind of strange.
Correct. And I have a real, well, first of all, Bella, thank you. Amanda Carroll, thank you for your words about we need more hearts and voices like yours. Thank you. It's often a challenge for me to let myself come into that place because it's not the regular communication.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to have some vegetables where most people want to give you some candy first. I want you to have the vegetables first. But that whole thing about there is a real truth to what the energy you're in is the energy you will reap. So even if you are
Oh, I
positive,
like that.
almost in a like trying to not be, toxic positivity, I really feel that that's an attack on people who are wanting to step into the light. Well, it can't always be good. Well, can't it? You have it always bad, right? No one said, well, I think so. I don't like that term. I think that there is a power in positivity, a transformative power,
Mm-hmm.
that things can always be light, but light has its variance. So sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
light is there's a darker side of the light or whatever. But yeah, I don't, that term doesn't sit well with me. Yeah, it can be invalidating.
Mm-hmm. Because then you're invalidating someone's personal experience, you know. Um,
I mean, you think about The Power of Positivity by Norman Vincent Peale, and even like How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I remember I love that book. That book changed my life. And I had a friend who said, "Well, you can't use that book in business. You can't just be nice. Actually, you
mm,
can."
yeah. They
So
say it's just all good business, nothing personal. It's just all, it's just good business. Uh huh.
no,
Yeah.
that's not true.
But again, that's like it leads back to what we were talking about earlier. It's putting that intent, not intent, but being that showing them that
Correct.
this can be achieved without the use of abuse, of um, misogyny, with, it's showing that you can do good business, you can do good anything coming from a place of love. And that's like the torch, you know, like we were talking about earlier, that needs to be held up, to show people that yes, it can be done. It takes a lot of change, you know, because we're just like fed this stuff since we were children, or
It's very true.
as we got older. And so to be able to have just come and say, well, you just have to change on that. It takes a while. It just isn't going to happen overnight. And that's why when it gets, the shadows get illuminated, excuse me, um, new ways, new pathways will open up.
It's
And we'll
true. And
shine that
even when
light.
there's shadow, there has to be
Sorry.
light.
Hmm.
There has to be light. And so it's all a very good thing. One of the challenges for me, even when I was a traditional Christian
Hmm.
pastor, I said in a sermon one time, yeah, you got to sit with what's uncomfortable.
Hmm. Yep.
Like I say, if your dog
True.
and cat don't know you saved, then maybe you're not saved, right? If the people in your local community don't know about you, if you all out in the church all hidey, 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 high,
Hmm.
and then same thing, you all on these channels talking that high spiritual talk, and then the folks around you would be shocked that you even had a spiritual way of being, because the way you act at work or the way you interact or react would not let them know that.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's value in the valley. Indeed, that's like in Yanla Van Zant right there. Value in the
I
valley.
know her. Yeah.
We're always on the mountaintops. Let me tell you, I've been in some valleys. I've been in some gorges. I've been at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, okay? And so I have made it out of there, and I didn't appreciate it
I
then.
I didn't when I lived in Arizona. I'm like, I'll just make it
But
to the top.
yes, my marriage, which was very challenging, the first one, and I'd love to blame everything on my husband, but I can't, because I brought the mess also. But do I appreciate what I have now with my wife? 1,000 million 100%. And so I learned And am I getting better? Yes. Do I still do things? I have to say, okay, baby, I gotta tell you something. Yes.
Yeah.
So if the only path to the life I'm living now is through the route that I came, I would gladly walk it again because I would have the hope of knowing the healing, the love, and the joy that is waiting on the other side of that. And it was even in the midst of that mess, I just didn't recognize it.
The midst of that mess.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of those.
Yeah.
We all
You
have.
know, like I don't, this isn't about faking and flexing. Like, whoa, Heather and I have our crystals. We are perfect, and we have our tarot cards. No, we got to this journey by left, right, zigzag,
Yeah.
up, down, take a step back, and take a step forward. But we're here now, and we'll
Mhm.
stand strong in this space. And now we know how to move forward from this place.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah. I've been
that,
in some pretty dark places. So
honey child. I know what you mean. But in the end,
that's why it's important too to have wellness. That's why I like what you do, and when Isaac comes on, because
I got to
learning
get with him.
DBT and these CBTs, I really want to start to bring more of that in. Because without those groups, without my counselor to help me through all of it, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And
Right, we
those
don't
really
do it
are
alone.
powerful tools.
Yes, and say that is to say very honestly, you know, we in the beginning or in the opening scriptures there's two creation narratives, which most people don't know that. So in the second creation narrative, they have Adam and Eve. When the divine masculine says it's not good for man to be alone, it's really true that it's not good for people to be alone. And that again, it's in group, working with someone, letting out the secrets. That's where the healing begins.
Hmm. It's really helped save my life.
Thank God for counselors and therapists
Hmm.
and good friends.
Yeah.
That
Mental
safe
health wellness,
space.
the stigma has to, you know, and it's getting better. I
Well, in
mean,
my community, like black folks, well, oh, I'm just gonna go to church. Well, you've been to church your whole life. You still watch my
you
salty
need a
mouth.
balance.
You're
Hmm.
still a mess, right? So is that working? Right? But again, you gotta, yeah. Sometimes you have to walk away from something to receive it in its
Hmm.
better form.
Yeah. And the going to church for him, he thought was enough, but in the same time, he was losing out on sight of the um the guidance that he was given to get the help.
Very
Instead of
true.
relying right on just our higher power, but this is a co-creation, you
Yes.
know, and so we have to try to be as mindful as possible when we have those moments and say, okay, where do I go to now? Not just expect them to hand it to us, and to be able to, okay, I'm ready to accept, where do I go next?
Very
And
true.
hmm
I think a lot of people have cognitive dissonance. Like one of the things I say to Lily, especially and to Gail, living here in the South, I grew up in California, so everything, everywhere, do whatever. Yeah, thank you. Free program. Yeah, it was great. But one of the things one of the things that, especially here in the South, that so many African Americans are so stuck on their religion, even though they come in to get tarot readings and they in the club the night before and in the church the day afterwards, is that uh, narrative that they were sold in that your life may be shitty right now. You might be poor. You have bad health and you ain't got no damn money and don't nobody love you. But I'm letting you know, sister and brother, that when you die, you gonna walk the streets of gold. Okay, so they want to hold on to that. So yes, my life's shitty because in the end, I'm gonna have something better. So when you say no, your life can be better right now.
hmm
There is a lot of, well, what do you mean? I've done all this stuff and I could have had good right now. So creates a cognitive dissonance. And sometimes it's like, oh, look, a new kitty.
yep, that's the other
Oh,
one.
beautiful.
That's
So, like we were talking about with the young girls ahead of time, that
hi,
even with
Jackie.
people who seem to have, good night, people who have even religious, like, why are you so religious? Because they have invested. So yes, I'm gonna have a horrible life now, but when I die, it's gonna get better. I'm like, if the person, the God you're interacting with, can't give you a good life now, why would you even believe at the end it's gonna get any better? Right? But again, that's not, many people don't, you don't bring critical judgment to religion. You don't. I taught as a pastor, I said, we're going to talk about the book of Genesis and we're going to go over the two creation narratives. Now, I am a seminary grad, right? I know how to find the Greek and Hebrew of these books. I'm telling you, what did one woman in the church say to me? There aren't two creation narratives in the Bible. Now, I said, okay, fine. Well, when we get to Genesis 1 and you don't see Adam and Eve in that story, and then when you get to Genesis 2, she says, oh, there are two creation narratives, right? So I didn't have to argue with her. But again, when people get invested in something, whether it's their religion or even their spirituality. So I'm going to go on every channel and ask, what do the next 6 months hold for me? I'm going to ask the Soul Sisters, and I'm going to ask Katie, and I'm going to ask Heather, and I'm going to ask Gerald and Richie, and I'm going to, when Melissa does read, I'm going to ask her why, because you're invested. That's one of us is going to say the magical words that are going to hit that place in your heart. But what I'm going to say is, whatever you did the last 6 months is what the next 6 months hold for you, unless you do something different. Yeah, it's hard to let go of the religious 401k plan.
Yeah, I saw that at
You
school.
are target with that. So Heather, don't let me get to preaching. This is, first of all, thank you for
I was
having me
sometimes I
on
wish I
here.
had that.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me on your show. We got to talk about my favorite things, crystals and goddesses. I love
Yes.
it.
Me too. And you are got to get down. So say bye, everybody. I'm getting down.
I used to
He's
have a
not gonna
black
like
cat
it.
named Beauty.
Yeah, that's my little panther. So, did you want to do a card pull for the collective?
Okay.
Everything. I'm gonna.
Yes.
Let's see.
And so this is, what is the collective energy for February or this
No,
week?
just for today. Send
Okay.
everybody off.
Thank you, everyone who came today. I'm very excited. Thank you for coming and
Oh,
supporting
thank you
Heather's channel.
for.
Please make sure you hit the thumbs up and that you subscribe to this young lady's channel.
You're welcome, Kristen. Bye bye. And while we were talking, Aries girl came in, Allison, and she subscribed to you. So Sherry's got her hands up saying praise be. So yeah, need more
One day
power
I need to just get on my
vibration.
channel and just let myself preach.
Kind of like what Michael Beckwith does.
Yes, I used to go to Agape. I love me some Michael Beckwith.
Oh my goodness, this is perfect.
All right.
Oneness is the way. How can you show more compassion and acceptance towards those you don't understand?
That is perfect. And then see,
It says it just says it all.
and then look how my card comes together with it. Goddess Sekhmet and fire agate. Passion of the lion heart.
Oh, beautiful.
And so again, this passion for oneness, the passion to live your life, doing the best that you can and opening and making space for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The
Whether you
oneness.
agree or disagree. Mm-hmm. She says here, yes, personally, I love preach authenticity, not holding back. Mm-hmm.
I think, so I love it when I go on someone's show. I get a whole bunch of subscriptions, and then I think they get a couple doses of me, and they're like, "Oh, this girl's too much," but it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, what you see is what you get, and that's why I love Minnassa, and I've been wanting for on my channel for a while. And of course, when I find someone who likes crystals,
Crystals. Maybe you can have
Pretty
Lily on
much
your
worth
show before you leave. She's the, I'm telling you, like that you said that Danberite, and she's like, I have that. And I'm like,
them.
Lily probably has too many crystals. She's standing right over here. That's why I said
You
it.
cannot have too many.
That's what I'm
A lot
saying.
ones
You
that
and
I
Lily could
bought.
probably get like 7 rare crystals and talk about it, and you two could pull them out. Most people would be like, I never heard of that.
Well, that's me now because getting back into crystals, I'm going to the crystal stores and I'm like, wait a minute, what's fire quartz? And some of these other stones. There's one that's out that I want to get. And it actually looks like, when you go into a candy store and you get those nut clusters and they're covered in chocolate and
Yeah,
they're all lumpy. That's
yum.
what the stone looks like, but it's from Egypt and it's called Egyptian wisdom stone. And I want to get
Never
one,
heard
but
of
they're like 20 bucks a piece. So at least
that.
in my store.
What's
But
that deck she has that had the people's faces on it
Oh,
with the crystals?
what was the deck you had that had the women's faces and the crystals? Lily wants to know.
oh, I mean this one here?
Yeah.
Yes. What is the? She's going to send me all of those, but she wants to see what
Yeah.
it is. Precious Gems Oracle. Who is it by?
Maxine Gad,
Yes, you
Gad.
make sure you buy the right one.
Amazon will know.
All right.
Ooh, that one's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I wish she could be a little more ethically diverse.
You know
but
what?
there were still some like
So this is what I say about those those
Clever.
that there was a time Black folks, Hispanic folks, Native folks weren't buying those decks because our religions had us in fear. So you're going to sell those decks to people who are going to buy them. So now that we out here buying decks, yeah, put us in the decks. But the decks that are prior to that, it makes sense. We weren't buying them. So yes, I have. Oh, you know what? When we backstage, I want to show you a deck, Heather. And if
okay.
you like it, I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh, okay. And I'm actually being gifted. I don't know if JJ's still here, but her channel Tuta Speaks. She
Oh, Tuta
actually helped
Speaks.
me do she was my guest last Friday, and she's helping me develop my light language, like what she does and what Karen does. And there was a crystal that wanted to come to the opening, and it was even represented in a card that she had pulled. And by the end of the episode, she goes, "This crystal's coming to you." So I can't wait to share that with everybody.
Oh, very good.
So I'm very excited about getting this crystal. And as part of my developing with the light language, before we go, this was something that I wrote and it's been sitting there. And I guess maybe I need to say it to send everybody off. I do not know what it means, but, and this is the first time I'm doing this live. So I'm doing it with somebody I feel safe with, which is Minnassa. I felt safe too with JJ, but after the last few days with me processing this, but it's Ana Konish Ewa. So I don't know what that means, but I'm sending off everybody with that energy. And thank you again, Minnassa. And thank you everybody for being here. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up Tuta Speaks. I'm gonna look it up right now.